Let's get a few points of healing from trauma. Number one, you got to learn how to trust yourself. So this means keeping small daily promises. This means trusting the Lord. So let's say in my screaming trauma as a kid, right? Yeah. One way of trusting myself is that one, I recognize that event caused me to feel that way. Okay, I trust that I know that's what's happening in me. Yeah. So now let me look at my wife in a way that says she's not belligerent. She's not intentionally trying to wound me. She's not after my character. Right. All the stuff the enemy wants you to think. I trust myself to know that is not my wife. Yeah. So take small steps of trusting yourself.
Yeah. And practice setting boundaries.
Yes.
Okay. We've had a whole episode on boundaries. You all know how I feel, but these boundaries are personal.
Yes.
So my boundary is no matter how I feel, I'm never going to demean Lamorris's image.
Yeah.
No matter how right I think I am.
Yeah.
I'm not going to prove my point so hard that he walks away like a puppy with his tail between his legs. That's not it.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to realize what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to say.
Yeah.
And a big part of that, Lamorris always says, this is his version, that we're not going to call each other outside of our names.
Yeah.
Right? So I didn't really understand it when he said it, but I get it now. We're not going to cuss at each other.
Yeah.
We're not going to scream at each other. We're not going to do that. That is not it. We're not going to throw something across the room at the other person. That's not how we live. We've never done those things, and we're not starting today or tomorrow. Yeah. Right? So decide now. And if you are there, you can rewind, you can take it back, you can repent, and you can start over.
Yeah, and it's a great resource for that would be Dr. Karen Leaf stuff. She has a great thing on trauma and how to rewire your brain from it. And so just go check out all her platforms.
It's a whole brain detox. I did it. It's great.
It's great. A few more. We have to learn how to know what our needs are, right? So if I express to Megan that was a trigger, even though she wasn't intentional in screaming, I could say, hey, babe, when you do this, if you could say it this way or maybe that way, right? That's a need for me.
We've never done that, have we, babe?
No.
We've had these conversations and it's good. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Another need might be me getting in the space where I'm actually exposing my heart to healing, worship, the word, being in community, having conversations with people who can speak to the strengths in that instead of the weaknesses.
Yeah. And then lastly, practicing regular, really just emotional proper nutrition, these regular patterns and disciplines in your life to keep you healthy.
Yep.
You might need to walk outside. You might need to sit in the sun. You might need to take a jog. Oh, that sounds terrible. If that is you, I empower you. You're doing great things.
Yeah.
But whatever you need to just blow off the steam to make sure your mind is in proper check and good health. We're not really yoga people like yoga. Yeah. But we are yoga people.
We like stretching.
And the actual, I like doing yoga.
Yeah.
But we just don't have like the chants and all the things.
Stuff.
It's just like a very solid, healthy, positive meditation and really causes us to reflect on, thank God my body can do this and that I am healthy. So whatever that is,
for you
need to find that space.
Yep. So thank y'all for
Kevin has a question.
Kevin's got a question.
Everybody
as we end the podcast.
Come on, guys.
They could match a face with a name now from the last episode.
Yeah, so basically he's saying what happens when you do
if you're in a relationship.
Put this regular practice in a relationship to say, hey, when you said that, this is the way I felt. When you responded that way, this is how it hurt me. And if they, in turn, their kind of umbrella response is they're not going to do that, they're not willing to do that, how do you respond? I would break up with them, but nobody likes that answer. So go ahead, babe.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. So if
good luck.
If you're married and that's your posture, you really have to reevaluate if you have a revelation of agape.
Yeah.
Because the core of every marriage is built not only on Christ, but He is love. God is love. Therefore, is agape. So if Megan comes to me with an express need, to Kevin's example, and I'm bucking that means I probably don't agape her, right?
Yeah, and you know that if a relationship isn't going to work, it's typically because of one or two parties they refuse to change.
They
right?
aren't willing to change.
So if you're not willing to change, if you're not willing to come to the table of the needs that need to be met by your spouse, of course that feels super selfish. Like just to hear that, I'm like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
What in you thinks that's not a good idea or that's too much work or that's what marriage and relationship is
That's right.
I want to learn about you and I want to love you better.
Yeah.
So whatever I need to do, because you're a picture, you're this reflection of what I look at and might not like in my own life because of how I'm responding or because of how you're responding and I don't understand. So this should be an opportunity of growth. And it all comes back down to a choice, my
That's
friends,
right.
and agape.
Agape. Yo,